Hi everybody, it's Roger. Hope you're having a good day. So the purpose of this video is to give a review of my latest motorcycle. It's a 2010 Ducati Multistrada 1200S. I've had it about a month now and probably put 700-800 miles on it. I've also done a few things to it because it's a really clean bike, but it needed some things. I mean, primarily the tires. The tires were really had good tread and everything on them, but they were 8 or 9 years old. Anyway, I'm gonna walk you around it and give you some thoughts on it initially, and a review, and what I think about it now after doing a few things and spending some time on it. Anyway, the first comment is it's not red. Most Ducatis you see are red, but this I bought this bike after looking for a long time. It's not exactly what I wanted. I actually wanted another brand bike, but I just couldn't find that. So this is a second choice. I'm glad I got it now, but it's basically stock. Like I said, it was clean. But it's the sport model, so Öhlins and Brimbos. 1198 cc V-twin, the Ducati engine that everybody knows. Came with the bags. It's got an arrow exhaust on it. I really hadn't noticed it had that, but it's super loud, no baffle, and it's had the catalytic converter deleted. Single-sided swing arm, obviously. I don't know what to do with bags. Of course, my other bike is a BMW S1000RR that I had been riding. So this is a culture change. It's completely different. So first got it, took it out for a ride, and I'm getting used to it, but it didn't run well at all. I didn't like it. I interstate wanted to lug 5th and 6th gear, basically unusable, missing, and that kind of thing. Just lugging, the fueling was really bad, so I didn't like the handling so much. But I mean, it's comfortable, good ergonomics, and the upright riding position is just awesome compared to, of course, the BMW. Let's talk about the ergonomics. It's big, wide, comfy seat. Handlebars are really wide. Brakes are really good. The front brakes are. The rear brake is terrible. It doesn't do anything, but you don't really use the rear brakes so much. This is the first, I think the first model Ducati. This is early on in the dynamic suspension. So it's got 4 modes. That's the Multistrada, multi-road or something. That's Italian for that. But it's got 4 modes that you can program when you're riding on the fly. It's sport, touring, urban, and trail or enduro. Yeah, so you're supposed to be able to ride this everywhere. In each one of the modes, it's not semi-active suspension. I think all it does is adjust preloads, and then with the different modes, it will adjust horsepower and throttle responses. I primarily ride it in touring and sport. They're both the 150 horsepower. The other two drop it down to like 100. That's the claimed horsepower on the thing, is 150. I don't remember the torque. I was talking about the power or whatever. Everything I'm comparing it to is my BMW. BMW will flat out outrun it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Is just about anywhere except for maybe coming out of a corner. This thing has got mid-range torque, 3,000, 4,000 RPM up to 8 or 9,000 RPM, it would pull the BMW. I've ridden the, not BMW once since then. It was stark. Came out of a corner in a gear and down low in the RPM range and pulled on it, and it just, this thing would leave it in the dust coming out, gear to gear anyway. So the brakes are good. Typical Brembo. I haven't looked at the pads. I've cleaned. I don't know what's on it, but they're more than adequate for this kind of bike. Front end dive. The suspension. I think it's got, I don't know, 5 or 6 inches of suspension travel. So that's different. So the front end dives, and it's pretty soft. It's not, but turns great. This thing. I mean, it reminds me, I've been a dirt bike rider all my life. The upright riding position and just the way it falls over, it reminds me a lot of riding some of the last dirt bikes I had. I had a Yamaha WR426F. It's exactly kind of, I mean, the feel, the riding, it's just big and heavy and wider, obviously. But the handling, when I first got it, didn't like it at all. It slid all over the place. Turn in was bad. The front end, the tire on, like I said, the tire on the front end had track. It still had good rubber and everything on it. Same with the rear, but it was waffled, and so, I mean, I bought tires almost immediately, but the transformation with, these are Michelin Power 5s. I think it had Michelin Power 3s on it, but it's daylight and dark now. It handles better, it turns better, it grips better. The old tire, you could second gear and first to second kind of speed shift it a little bit, and it'd break the rear end loose, and it can start the dynamic traction control on this, which is something I didn't like. The traction control is very invasive. If it ever slips or the rear end and kicks that traction control in, it is horrible, absolutely horrible. My BMW, I've had, I'll get the traction control lights going on occasionally, but you wouldn't really know that it's doing anything. This thing will flat fall on its face when the traction control, and it's slow. So you do the event and you realize the event and it's done hooked back up, and then all of a sudden the traction control comes in. So I'm going to probably just turn it off and not use it. So I'm liking the bike a lot more now. So the other thing I didn't like about it, and I've kind of improved it, that's the last thing I did, was the throttle. Of course, I don't know anything, but you see a lot of reviewers talk about the throttle control and the fueling, and now I kind of understand why that's an important topic. But this thing in the twisties, out anywhere, but coming into a corner and you just let off the throttle and the front end would dive, and then if you gave it just a millimeter more throttle, it would lurch forward just mid corner. If you did any throttle changes at all, it upset everything. The throttle transitions were terrible. So you basically needed to get set up and go into a corner and not move the throttle. Of course, you want to add a little bit, and I got better with it, but it's certainly not anything like the BMW. But so today, it's the last thing I've done. I bought Tune Boys out of Australia. So today I put one of the canned tunes that came with it was a map for this aero system. And I've been on a ride for about 50 miles, and I think it improved it, but it's still, the throttle is, and it may be a bit Ducati thing, but it's it's a different ride. I mean, it's the throttle control is not there. So, but anyway, talking about it now, and I've got a bunch of footage of me riding it on the twisties, that kind of thing. I'm not sold really well on the looks of it. It's It's an old man bike, but I'm getting old now. I certainly feel more comfortable riding it and could ride it a lot longer. Adjustable windshield, heated grips. That seat is just awesome. Anyway, that's a walk around and a little bit of talk about it. I wasn't at all happy. Well, I was, okay happy with it, but I'm a lot more happy with it now after tires and the tune. But it's starting to grow on me. But it is completely different than anything I've ever ridden. My first Ducati, obviously. All the sound of it, I'll say that too. It really does sound well, or sound good. That pipe is, I'm gonna try to find a baffle for it. It's too loud, way too loud, but certain RPMs getting on it, I can understand the love of the Ducati engine. It's different. That's one of the things I wanted. Everything I've ever ridden have been the inline fours, the BMWs, and I had a Honda before that, and I wanted a V twin, and I've got it now. So hope you enjoy this little talk and walk around, and I'll follow it up. I'll attach some just riding around out in the country stuff with it. And it's a good all-around bike. I'm enjoying it more and more. See you. Bye. Everybody. So on a previous, kind of did a vlog riding the bike. I've only had it 3 or 4 weeks, and hadn't been real happy with the handling of it. So I managed to get some new tires on it yesterday. They're the Pilot Power Sport 5s. Really highly rated, Michelin obviously, but I've never ridden them. Anyway, I've got them on, so I'll put 50 miles or so on, scrubbing them up, getting to this point. But this is 390 near Harrodsburg, Kentucky, one of my old haunts. I'm going to say that tires alone made a big difference for the handling. So much smoother, turn in's good, much better, improved. No herkiness. In the mid-turn, the other tires just didn't feel right. They were old. They were Power Sport 3s, this same version of tire, but I think the date stamp on them said 2013. Way past their prime, good and hard. This road is pretty well known in the area for bike riding. It's a good road. I know it pretty well. First time down it on this bike, the Ducati. Bike in sport mode. Telling I've got some luggage. You can set the preload for different weights. I'm telling I've got luggage back in the back to put a little more preload in the rear shock. Presets in it do definitely work. I had it in sport. Coming down here, some of the freeway stuff, not so twisty or whatever, and it definitely softened the suspension up. I've complained in the past about the snatchy throttle on this. These tires aren't going to help that. It's still there, but I'm getting better with it. Oh yeah, it just lays over smooth now. One tire was cupped pretty bad on the other one. You could feel it kind of vibrating on brake and turn in right here. It just felt real bad mid-corner. Of course, it's still no BMW S1000R. Not bad. Definitely have more confidence with it now. Other tires were just slick. I never slid the front or anything, but back tire, just from torque, would slip every once in a while and throw the traction control off on this thing. Had some good rains, and you always still have to watch this road, as in all other back roads, but tractors and gravel and grass and normal stuff. Throttle. Lot of opportunities to pass someone on this road. Shame, this is good stuff. Still have a hard time with the gears in it. I don't, this kind of stuff, third gear, just stay there. It's got enough torque to pull out of the corners that you should probably just use it. will go down right here in this gravel I was riding with once. Freaked out more than anything. He didn't slide, he just saw it and in that corner and target fixated on something, just went off the road. Oh, I love this corner. Took me a while to get tires on it. I had to get some stands. I couldn't get the thing off the ground. This thing comes with a center stand, but somebody had taken it off. I hear that's pretty common for ground clearance. Doubt I'd ever ride it hard enough that I'd scrape that, but I don't know. Anyway, got pit bull stands and tore into it yesterday. Did a lot of cleaning in the back. It's the first time I've ever dealt with a single-sided swing arm and all that rigmarole. Pretty neat. All the specialty tools and stuff you need. Big nuts that are on in it. Had to buy all that stuff. Welcome to Ducati ownership.